guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be continuing my X-Men review series with the second X-Men film, X-Men United. In X-Men United, Stryker is introduced, who holds the truth to Wolverine's past and the future of the X-Men. As Stryker is introduced, he holds a threat to the X-Men, especially Professor X's mansion and school. What I love the most about this movie is that it is bigger, and since it is way bigger than the first one, it is better. You guys know how much I loved the first X-Men movie, and you guys can watch that review. I'll link it down below and put it somewhere above, because I just love how grand it is, and I love all the ideas that the movie has, and I also really love the characters, and this movie has all of that and makes it even better. I think sequels are a great chance to prove how great a franchise and a story can be, and I think this movie does what every sequel should do, and that is just be better than the first installment. And I'm so happy to be talking about it because I remember when I saw this movie, I was just in love, and I don't know, I feel like people don't talk about it that much, but I think it's really good and probably one of the best superhero movies I've seen. My complaint with the first one was that I felt like not all of the characters were given enough screen time and explored as well, and this movie completely changes that because I think every single character was given quite enough of screen time, and we got to learn a lot more about each of them, especially Wolverine. We learned a whole lot about him and the whole Weapon X, especially with Stryker, since Stryker is the main villain against Wolverine. And we also learned more about Jean Grey, and I love what they did with her character. I think Jean Grey as a character is awesome, although every time it's explored with the Phoenix, which I'll get more into that when I review those movies, I feel like they always kind of miss on that. I think in this movie she's explored really well, and I got to know a lot more about her, and I always appreciated that. And another character I learned a lot about was Iceman. I really enjoyed seeing him do more stuff, and I think his power is really cool, and I especially liked a whole sequence he had when he went to see his parents and he told them that he was a mutant, and I loved the exchanges because his parents were basically telling him, oh, can you just not be a mutant? And I thought that was really interesting, and just loved everything he did in this movie. And those are just a few characters. I think honestly every single character here was given justice, and I think that that's more than enough you can ask for in a superhero movie with this many characters. And a lot more emotion is given to these characters, and something that I love about the X-Men series that I don't see often in superhero movies, and this doesn't just happen in this movie, but this is the first time I saw it in the series, is the characters we once thought were villains actually aren't, and you can kind of relate to them and at the same time understand them, and they give them more emotion and make them more mature, where this isn't a typical superhero movie where the villains are on one side and the good people are on one side. They just kind of all intertwine, and I think that that's awesome because not every single mutant is going to be entirely good and entirely bad, and I liked seeing Magneto's side and Professor X's side kind of unite, and especially with Mystique, who in the first one she's all on Magneto and she continues to be, but you see her in a different light, and I really enjoyed that. I think that whenever a movie does that is awesome because you wouldn't expect it. I love them all working together because at the end of the day they all have the same goal, to protect the mutants. They just have different ways about doing it, and I've always really liked that, especially in this movie. Also, the action sequences are so great and they're so well shot. They're very fast paced, but they're not too fast paced where you kind of get lost in the action. You're always seeing everything that's going on and you feel like you're a part of that, and there's so much tension. And one of my favorite scenes in this movie is the mansion attack, when people come to attack Professor X's mansion, and oh my god, it's so good. It's such a 4 or 5 minute sequence, and I love that you get to see all of the students' different powers, like a girl just goes through walls, falls out of the bed, this and that. Like, it's so cool, and I especially love when Wolverine just stabs the dude like that. Like, come on, that's just awesome. But seriously, it's awesome. Like, the action sequences are amazing. And one of my favorite X-Men, if not my favorite X-Men fight scene, is at the end of this movie when Wolverine fights Lady Deathstrike. That's amazing. First of all, Lady Deathstrike is just phenomenal. I just think she's so cool and epic, and she was amazing, and that's probably the most well-directed shot action scene in this movie. And I was just so pumped the whole time, and I think that's all you want in a superhero movie like this. And this movie is still full of humor, but not too much humor. It's just a good enough heartfelt moments and little special moments that I just really appreciate. and the writing of this movie is just amazing. If I didn't think the writing of the first one was good, this one is just even better. And gosh, I love this movie. I'm talking about it right now, and I want to watch it again, even though I watched it literally the other day. Another set of scenes that were just amazing is when Stryker's son, who's a mutant, which I thought that was I thought that was just very interesting on its own, is going into Professor X's mind. And it was kind of a thing where you didn't know if he was in Professor X's mind or not, so it was kind of playing with you, and I just loved it. Like the scene where Professor X is walking and you see him crying, amazing acting on Patrick Stewart's part, but it's just like those entire sequences were just so amazing. And it was so crazy, like when Professor X was telling him to get out of my head. I always really liked those sequences, and I thought they were done extraordinary in these parts. It's just, this movie's perfect. It has the tension, the action, but it's still heartfelt even though it's intense, and you get to know and love all of these characters. And yeah, this is honestly one of the greatest superhero movies of all time in my opinion. I'm going to give this movie an A+. Before I end this, I know I already gave my grade. The ending was fantastic. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but I thought the direction they went with is just phenomenal and really bold, and I loved it. I loved it so much. And the effects still stand, despite me saying in the first one that I didn't think the effects stand. I think they're great here. I would love to know what you guys think of the X2. Again, I love this movie. I think this is awesome. This is definitely one of my favorite X-Men movies, and I feel like it's not talked about enough, so I would love to know what you guys have to say about this. And yeah, that's about it for this review. I'm really excited because very soon my Halloween series is starting, and they're gonna be really awesome, guys. So make sure, if you're not subscribed, to please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!